pay guide under the real estate award. And the common question, and I was talking to one of the franchise groups today, and they're getting the same question constantly from their franchise office as well. And it's all about that difference between, particularly about commission only. So, and having the right employment agreement. It's all around the employment agreement on this. So if you're being paid a wage, and whether it's debit, credit, or it's a wage, or whether there are targets or anything in there, it's a normal employment agreement. But it needs to be written. It needs to specify all of the conditions of the employment that you or your if you're the boss, are putting your new employee under. And obviously, the best place, I feel like I'm an agent for Reef at the moment, but the best place to get those is obviously, if you're a member of Reef, is to get them from Reef. And certainly it's where you'll get your best information from their website. Usually I'm saying get to the Fair Trading website and read all the information on there. Today, on this issue, I'm saying get onto the Reef, REEF, Real Estate Employers Federation, and talk and read about the employment agreements on there. And, obviously you can access through that if you're a member. So there's your normal employment agreement. There's also commission-only employment agreements, because commission-only is a point of employment. It's where an employer actually wants to engage an employee on a commission-only basis. They need to ensure that that employee meets the minimum income threshold amount, or the meter criteria, so MITA. And that needs to be reassessed every 12 months to determine if that commission-only agreement can actually continue. So, and actually to qualify to be a commission-only employee, and I'm really pushing this, if a commission-only is an employer, you are paying the individual, not a business name, not a company name. That's independent contractor. We're on a different bandwagon there. Come back to commission-only employees. And, to be that, there's, 6 major criteria that you actually need to meet. Not, the meter test is part of that. But they need to be engaged in property sales or in commercial, retail, industrial leasing at the representative level, which is level 2. And there's 4 levels under the real estate award. Level kind of 5. Level 1 has an upper and a lower end to it, so the first 12 months and post 12 months. But they need to be at a level 2 level, or the representative level, before you can actually put them onto commission only. They cannot be engaged as a junior or a casual or as a trainee. Okay, so that's not part of the deal. So the second criteria, and they have to meet all of these criteria. The second one is they need to agree in writing to be remunerated on a commission-only basis. So it's actually an agreement that that your employee needs to want to enter into. So and that agreement obviously needs to set out how the commission is split and how they get paid and when they get paid and how all of their entitlements are covered in terms of when they get paid their sick leave, clearly when they take a sick day, when they get paid their annual leave, when they take leave. So it's not about packaging it up and putting their super into it and all of those sorts of things. The agreements, again, need to specify all of this. The person being employed as a commission-only salesperson needs to have either a certificate of registration or a license. You would think by the time they got to the level 2 representative level, they would have a license, because remember, they've been in the industry then longer than 12 months, so they would have the ability to have moved from an assistant agent to a licensed agent in terms of the licensing structure in New South Wales. And they need to have been employed in salesperson's role or commercial, retail, industrial leasing role for at least 1 year out of the last 3. Okay, so an aggregate of at least 1 year out of the last 3. So if they were employed 5 years ago and they're coming back into the industry, they cannot go straight onto commission only. Okay, they don't meet that criteria. They need to be at least 21 years of age, so have a little bit of life experience about them. And obviously, back to the meter test, they actually need to establish that they've achieved that minimum income threshold amount. Okay, so when you think about, the meter and how it's worked, I've actually got some figures here. At a level 2, the award salary there is $45,635.20. So $45,500. Now, the meter test is actually calculated on an employee must be able to show that in any 12-month period, out of those previous 3 years that we just talked about, that they've received a salary, inclusive of their bonuses or commissions, to at least 125% of the employee's minimum award rate. So if they're on a representative level 2, that wage is, what was it again, 45,600-ish. 125% of that comes out at about, I think it's just over $57,000. So they need to show that they've actually satisfied and made that amount of money to be eligible to be a commission-only salesperson. Now that's all fine and quite okay for you to do that. It is a point of employment. Independent contractor, a whole range of different criteria that they need to meet to do that, and that's probably a topic for another day, or certainly again. And it's not something that Reef cover. Reef look at employment arrangements, not at independent contractor business arrangements. You need to get good legal and accounting advice to walk down that path of the independent contractor status.